The first day of Ohio State football camps is complete, and the Buckeyes handed out numerous offers to youngsters who impressed them on the field.
You are Locked On Buckeyes, your daily podcast on the Ohio State Buckeyes. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What is up, Buckeye fans? Welcome back to another episode of Locked On Buckeyes, part of Locked On Podcast Network. I'm your host, Jay Stevens, also the host of the Jay Stevens Podcast. It is Thursday, June 2nd in the year 2022, and I want to thank you for making Locked On Buckeyes your first listen or first watch of every single day. Not one, not two, not three, but 7. That is correct. 7 high school recruits, 7 campers that were at Ohio State football camps just a day ago received an offer by the end of camp. Camping season is fun. Camping season is exciting. Camping season is a time when coaches like Ryan Day, Larry Johnson, Justin Fry, Brian Hartline, they get to see youngsters that they probably would not see at any other time or might not be on their radar come to Columbus, get coached up by Ohio State coaches and other coaches from numerous universities that flock to Ohio State to coach in these camps. You get youngsters, we talked about it yesterday, and this is one that will probably be in my mind for quite a long time. Just a year ago, we got Will Smith Jr., who went to a camp, got an offer, took a visit to the campus to a game in the fall, and then later on committed to Ohio State. Now, granted, you may say, Jay, he has family ties. But that camp was a time for him to say, hey, look, I'm going to come to y'all. If you aren't going to come to me, I'm going to go to you to work out in front of you, run a 40 in front of you, do pass rush drills in front of you so that you can see what I bring to the table and that I am the real deal and I deserve an offer from your school. That happened last year. But then you have a guy like this year, Mylan Graham. We're going to go through a few of these guys, but Mylan Graham is someone, he's a 2024 recruit from New Haven, Indiana, New Haven High School, and this is his first offer ever. His first offer came from Ohio State, and it's because of this camp. You have some other guys, class of 2023 guys that are in this group as well. Jermaine Matthews, 6 foot, 175 cornerback from the class of 2023. Elias Rudolph, a 6'4", 220-pound defensive end, class of 2024. A safety from the class of 2024, Garrett Stover, 6'2", 195. He is Cade Stover's cousin. Little family connection there. But he also went to the camp, performed, and got an offer there. Quarterback Austin Novastad, he is currently committed to Baylor. He's a 2023 recruit. Now, this one's interesting because when someone's committed to Baylor and he's actually from the state of Texas, you might think Ohio State might want to back away. Ohio State might not want to go that way. But when you have 3 guys that me and John Garcia Jr. talked about recently in the class of 2023, Dante Moore looks to be more of a Notre Dame or a Michigan guy. He's from the state of Michigan as well. He's still getting recruited heavily by Notre Dame. Eli Holstein from the class of 2023 recently committed, I believe, to Alabama. And so now you have all of these kids here. I might have got his commitment wrong. I know some of y'all who had back and hit me up in the YouTube comments. I may have gotten that one wrong. But there was no quarterback currently in the class of 2023, so that may be someone where Ohio State could flip him. He decommits from Baylor, commits to Ohio State, because Ohio State, they want a quarterback in every class. This could be the guy. Then he impressed him in camp, and he got himself an offer. 2023 defensive end / linebacker. He's being recruited as a hybrid type of player. Jalen Thompson, 6'3", 245 pounds. And then a 2024 cornerback, Aaron Scott, 6'1", 190 pounds. I believe Aaron Scott was someone that was there in a cast. So when it came to the ball catching, that was something that was going to be not something that he was going to do. He could attempt to catch the ball, but if you have something on your hand that's blocking and it's not allowing you to freely catch the ball when you're trying to impress people in a camp, that's one thing. You can still show off your back pedal, your speed, your how quickly you turn, your hip, your flexibility. You can show off all of those things. but maybe that catching is going to be a little bit difficult. But those are 7 guys that got offers on the first day of camp. First of 7 one-day football camps. That's not including the 7-on-7 that Ohio State is going to be hosting. And they're also going to be doing some things for the middle school kids as well. So now you may say, Jay, will middle school kids get an offer? It's possible. I mean, it's possible. Some kids get offers at 8th grade, 7th grade. That's not my cup of tea. That's not where I would pursue. But some kids do get offers at that age. One day down. So many more to go. Numerous official visits during this month and a busy month of June, as we talked about yesterday during our weekly recruiting update. It's only going to get busier. A lot of looks at these high school kids right now because they know this is their time to shine. This is their time to prepare for life after high school because the high school kids know in July, you're ramping things up with your high school team. Now, a lot of schools do. Well, I know where I currently live. School starts earlier, so you're having to do preseason practice 2 weeks of that earlier than normal. So that's going to be a lot of the things these high school kids will be getting themselves into in the month of July. And Ohio State knows that. Ohio State knows a lot of these youngsters want to commit to a school before their senior season of high school football. So they're going to hit it hard. You come to me, we'll coach you up. You might get an offer, but we're going to be on you. We're going to be on you. We're going to recruit you like you are someone that we really want to be at our school because offers don't come lightly. Not everybody gets an offer to play at Ohio State. So it's a luxury that, one, you get an offer the first day you're on campus, you're at Ohio State. It's a luxury. If you're a kid like Mylan Graham, that your first offer comes from Ohio State. But just wait to see what happens next. And if this is the right spot for you, and if you like what we're hearing, and we all know a lot of these youngsters are asking about NIL money, great. Go for it and make that decision. Allow Ohio State to be the school you want to go to. If it's the best fit for you, so be it. I want to be closely watching, and we'll ask John Garcia Jr. next week about Austin Novosad, about if there's a possibility of Ohio State flipping him from Baylor to Ohio State, because the Buckeyes won a quarterback in the class of 2023. Mr. Novosad might be that young man. Guys, I recently saw something that Penn State did with the theme that they announced. That'll be the theme for the day when they play Ohio State on October 29th. I think it added fuel to the fire. What is it? Stick around to find out. We've been asking and Built delivered. Built granola bars are here. Built granola bars come in 3 unbelievable flavors: chocolate peanut butter, chocolate coconut, and white chocolate berry. Want to try all 3 flavors? You can get a mixed box at built.com right now. These are so different from the bars and the puffs. Built granola bars are loaded with granola. It's the perfect combination of crunch and chewiness. But just like the bars and puffs, these babies are packed with protein and covered in 100% real chocolate. With 150 calories, 15 grams of protein, and only 4 grams of sugar, Built granola bars will change your world. Built has cracked the code to better granola. They're the perfect healthy snack to pack in your lunch, take on the road, or eat as a snack. Go to Built.com. Use our friendly promo code LOCKED15. That is LOCKED15, and you will get 15% off your next order. Once again, go to Built.com and use our friendly promo code LOCKED15 to get 15% off at Built.com. We have an important favor to ask you. We've put together a survey so we can learn more about listeners like you and make your favorite Locked On podcast even better. This is your opportunity to tell us what you like and don't like about Locked On Podcast. Go to lockedonpodcast.com/survey right now to get started. It won't take very long, and everyone that completes a survey can qualify for a chance to win one of 10 $100 Ticketmaster gift cards. That's correct. You can win money. To take our audience survey, go to lockedonpodcast.com/survey. Thanks for your help. Every year, I look forward to Ohio State going to Penn State to play the football game, or even when the team up north goes to Happy Valley to play the Nittany Lions. I look forward to that. It's always a night game. Generally, it is a night game, and it's the whiteout. It's a made-for-TV event. It was something that started, I believe, in 06 or 07. Somebody stood on a corner and really promoted it without the help of social media or the internet because, well, it wasn't as prevalent as it is today. And the whiteout was birthed before all of the social media hoopla, social media being used like it is now. Word of mouth was the way that things got out, and the whiteout was birthed. And then you get this year when Penn State recently released their themes for their games in the fall. I was looking and I've seen some of your tweets and your thoughts. Normally, we thought and we expect Ohio State or Michigan, when they face Penn State later in the year in the final Saturday in October, that is going to be the whiteout game for Penn State. It's a night game. Like I said, it's a made-for-TV event. This year, the whiteout is against Minnesota. It's also Penn State's homecoming, so I can understand that. But the Penn State-Minnesota game the week earlier at 7:30 p.m., the time has already been announced. That is going to be the whiteout for Penn State. And Ohio State is left with a consolation prize, not a bad one, but it's not as good as the whiteout. Ohio State gets the stripe out, where one column is one color, then the other column is another. It looks very good on TV as well, but the whiteout brings a different level of electricity in the stadium. And if I'm ABC or Fox or ESPN, it will not be on the Big Ten Network, I am saying, look, can y'all just make this the Ohio State game so we can get all these eyeballs, more eyeballs on us, 107, 110,000 strong there in Happy Valley, rooting on the Penn State Nittany Lions, rooting against the Ohio State Buckeyes. Can we just get that there so everybody, including us, can get the best picture for 3.5 to 4 hours on our television screen? No, not going to happen. Not going to happen at all. Ohio State is the stripe-out game. Like I said, it's a nice, decent consolation prize, but it's not the same. Now, when I went back and looked, I did look at some things here, and I noticed that Ohio State and Penn State is the same week. Now, some people, it's different, not so much about the whiteout itself, but people have been wondering, does this mean that this game is going to be a 12 noon kickoff game on Fox and not a primetime game either on Fox or the ABC? I don't think Ohio State really plays primetime games on ESPN. Some of y'all will correct me. I forget that myself. But as I look at the schedule, there is still a way, a small chance, but there is still a way for this to still be a nighttime game, a 3:30 or 3:30 or 7:30 p.m. kickoff. I could see it being 7:30 on Fox or even ABC, just depending on where things go. But if Fox wants to maximize their dollars and eyeballs, I mean, it's risky. But they could put Michigan State in Michigan, a rivalry game, which last year was a 12 noon kickoff game, which got massive ratings, and Michigan State won that game. It was in East Lansing. That game could be at 12 noon, big noon kickoff on Fox. Ohio State-Penn State could be the 7:30 or 8 o'clock kickoff game on Fox as well. You get the game, you get the pregame show with the build-up to a rivalry game. You get a midday game, probably Pac-12 or Big 12. Probably would be a day full of Big Ten games. And then the night game, you get Ohio State-Penn State. I also don't know how Major League Baseball will interfere on Fox and how that broadcast or the playoffs, that might be a night situation there on Fox. So I don't know all of those things. I know those are a little further down the road, little nerd things that executives have to figure out as far as, well, do we put Ohio State-Penn State at night and jeopardize messing up or messing up the baseball? Or do we put them in at 3:30? Or do we put a football game at 3:30 and then leave that slot open, which they probably will do for the baseball because that's a big deal for Fox? I don't know. But one thing I do know is I find it weird, very, very, very weird that the whiteout is not against Ohio State. Now, I do think it would be against Ohio State if they could get concrete information right now that the game will be at 7:30. They already know their homecoming game is at 7:30. They already know who the opponent is, Minnesota. Minnesota is not going to be the same type of team that Ohio State is, or Michigan is, or Michigan State is. Well, maybe Michigan State is possible. It's possible. But there's a difference. Ohio State brings something that no other Big Ten team brings. And when you break off tradition, is it because of not knowing the time of the game? You want your whiteout to be at night? Or is it just homecoming, whiteout? It's something that you guys want to start a new trend of. I don't know. But if I'm a player, if I'm a coach, if I'm looking for any way to get any extra fuel to the fire, I'm going to look at this announcement that Penn State made via using their student managers on the Twitter. And the student managers announced what position group or coach they work with, and they ended up saying, yeah, this is the theme for the day, blah, 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 blah. Got it. It was a good announcement. You could add fuel to the fire for this. Ryan Day, will he need to? No, he won't need to. Will he? It's possible. Will the players use this as adding fuel to the fire? Probably. Would I? Absolutely. I sure would. Y'all want to bring your biggest night, your biggest game, your biggest theme to the Minnesota Golden Gophers? Hello. That doesn't sit well with me. And I would gladly use this bad boy as fuel to the fire. Many of you are fans of sports betting. It's not currently legal in the state of Ohio, but will it be soon? Stick around to find out. Sports betting is something that our country has been wrapped up in, getting more acquainted with, and really taking advantage of very, very quickly once it's legal. Numerous states around the U.S. of A. already have legal sports betting, and people in Ohio, I know for a fact, have been chomping at the bit, have been hoping and wishing sports betting would be in the state of Ohio really, really soon. You don't have to look very much further. Just wait about 6 months from now, because on January 1st, 2023, sports betting will be live in the state of Ohio. That all means you can go on your phone, get your iPhone out, you can download different apps and various apps to bet on sports right there in Ohio. I've done a little bit of it. I don't do it anymore. I've actually gone away from the sports betting. But I know many people listening to this will be very, very happy. Things like prop bets and over-unders and things like that, and live in-game bets, you'll be all over that. And our good friends at Bet Online, they will have you covered with everything you want and need when it comes to the sports betting. I will give you this one little piece of advice, a little caution. Don't go overboard. I've had people, I had a person, one of my friends actually reach out to me and discuss the sports betting that I never thought this person would be into. It would just say, hey, man, I got this, 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 I got that parlay, I got this, I got this. How many are you winning? I got this, I got this, I got this. Okay, hey bro, how many are you winning? How much money have you won? Yeah, man, I got this 5. So you mean to tell me you're not winning anything? Well, you see, man, it's hard, man. It's hard. It's hard to do the sports betting. It's really hard to properly predict what's going to happen. So how much money have you spent? I didn't ask him that question, but it's a thought in my mind. How much money have you spent? Okay. Does your wife know you're spending this money? Does your wife know you're spending the money that you are going to be using for something else to satisfy this itch you have? I'm just saying, I will not stop anybody from betting on the sports, but be careful. Be careful. One of the reasons I don't do it anymore, because that bad boy is addicting. NBA playoffs, NFL playoffs, college football playoffs, big rivalry games in college football, different things during the March Madness tournament in college basketball. Baby, it's so easy. It's so easy to get wrapped up in that, get wrapped up into it. The next thing you know, bam, you're in a hole. Bam, you don't win the things you thought you were going to win. And bam, you got somebody behind you looking over saying, oh, where's the money I thought we had that we don't have anymore? What have you done? What in the world have you been doing with this money that all of a sudden is going to places and you're not discussing things with me about it? Be careful. Be very, very careful. But I will say, it's a great time. January 1st, a great way to start the new year. And with it being college football playoff season, I don't know the exact dates. Really, it's kind of weird that the playoff games are not starting in the new year like we're used to. Well, the old systems, plural. But be careful. But have fun, man. Have fun with it. Have fun with it. If you're going to embark on the sports betting, be careful. I would just always say, warn yourself. I know a sports talk radio host that ended up door dashing because they lost the value of $1 via sports betting, sports gambling, and they started door dashing when they weren't working their radio show, and they worked and got all the money back because they lost their words, not mine. They lost the importance and the value of $1. So they said, hey, I lost the money. I'm going to work to get it back with a different job. Not the job or jobs that I currently have. I'm going to do something extra to get that money back so that I can realize and remember what the value of $1 is. Hey, great. I like that idea. I love it. Love it. But it's fun, man. I will say it's fun. Great for the state of Ohio to get sports betting. I know a lot of you have been wondering when that could happen. But now remember, they can track you. They track where different different bets are made. And if you're in a place, if you have an occupation that you cannot legally, or you cannot bet on sports because it's against their rules and guidelines, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't even think about it. Don't do it. Yeah, you could be a Calvin Ridley. I'm not saying that lightly. He did get in trouble for doing things that he knew he should not have done. But for everybody else that can legally do those things, have fun. Have fun. But also, be careful. Guys, it's a fun day. It's a Thursday show. We have one more day in the week, and we'll be back next week. Coming up next week, starting next week, we will be starting a position breakdown for every position at Ohio State. Quarterback, running back, wide receiver, offensive line, tight end, D-line, linebackers, secondary. Now, we may break up D-line, say T-tackles, defensive ends, but we will do that coming up starting next week. So be on the lookout. I'll give you more concrete a date as far as that'll be a Monday or Tuesday show coming up throughout the months of June and July, but we will be doing that coming up very, very soon. So you have more of a great insight about who is the starter, who are the backups, and who is coming up in the recruiting side, who is coming up next. Guys, position breakdown. Didn't do this before last season. Didn't have time to do it before the 2020 season because I became the host shortly before the season started. Glad to do that this year going into the 2022 college football season. As always, you can follow me on Twitter at jstevens07. You can also send all of your emails to jstevens317@gmail.com. Thank you for making Locked On Buckeyes your first listen every day. Now make your second listen the Locked On NBA Big Board Podcast. Rafael Barlow, Richard Stamen, Sam Ferris, and Leif Thulin give fans an in-depth look into the biggest prospects, the latest player rankings, and of course, big boards. Follow Locked On NBA Big Board every day on the Odyssey app, YouTube, and wherever you get your fine podcast.